Welcome back, everyone. Today is a special day because I present you my first cast of a WARNO League game. As I said in my last video, this time unfortunately I wasn't able to take part in the WARNO League, so I asked Protoss if it would be fine if I would cast some games, and he said yes, because more publicity is always better for our small little competitive scene. And I decided to do some lower division casting because he and Chloride mostly take care of the first and second division, and then Bandana also does some high division, high skill casting. And so I went with the Division 3 cast. You can see we have on the left hand side in blue Imawhale, known guy from Team and Plays chat. He's playing as 101st Airborne. Map is Hesse, by the way. So a fairly new map still. And then on the other side we have Marxist conspiracy, with conspiracy spelled incorrectly. Don't know if this is like a joke I don't get or whether he just spelled it wrongly. Just gonna call him Marxist, playing as 11th ACAV. So instantly I was very surprised when I saw the divisions, because how does 11th get through banning? It's still the most broken division in the game, but apparently Imawhale prioritized different divisions, which makes sense because other divisions are also very good. But in my opinion, 11th, and in the opinion of many other people, 11th is still the most broken division in the game. You also saw that their deck builds are, well, for me, they're unique, I would say. Let's say I built my decks differently. And so I was very interested to see how they play with the decks they built. We can see on the right hand side in red, Marxists having fairly light deployment on the left hand side, one recon Bradley, which, I mean, okay, to be fair, is not really that light, but it's the only unit going there into the open, which is a bit weird. Then we have a scout also deploying in the open, don't really know why, and the 50 cal truck driving back. Well, it's not a truck, it's just a Humvee. Then a Stinger, which, yeah, I guess makes sense, you know, playing against one first, pretty much helicopter base division. Then we had 3 BGS going to the center. I wasn't sure why he wants to use BGS, because like in such numbers in the beginning, because if you didn't know, before the last patch, pretty sure it was the last patch, they had the security trait, which makes your optics go up by 1 level if your unit is stationary for some time, which made the BGS have exceptional recon, which was pretty broken because it got an exceptional recon unit for 20 points. But this got taken away, so now it's just it's just a very cheap recon squad, which is still cool. I like to use such squads for flank control, but in this case he deploys 3 of them in the center. I mean, I guess it still makes sense because they're cheap, right? But I mean, they're also not that good recon-wise anymore as they used to be. And then you have 2 Panzergrenadier in the Marder, Iltis Führung, and the normal engineer in a truck. And then on the right-hand side, we have another Panzergrenadier Marder, and yet the units here also going to the center. I really don't like the Panzergrenadier Marders in the 101st. I mean, in 11th. I mean, they're shit. Basically, the worst infantry in the whole game. Literally, every infantry is better than them, except for like the few 4-man AT squads. But even they are arguably better because they at least have a good AT launcher. And the Marder is also a pretty bad IFV. It's like not the worst one, because especially the Marder 1 in 3 has decent front armor, but it's still not that good, especially if you take it at 0 vet. And yeah, I mean, I don't know why you would take them if you have an infinite tab which has endless engineers and well, other high HP units available. You saw that he has taken a lot of engineers, but I would rather replace, for example, the Panzergrenadier Marder card with Milan 2 card, and just have the ATGMs because they're also still very good, because recon in general doesn't work, as you might have noticed. I love to complain about that. So yeah, though in this case it does make sense to a certain degree because WARNO first doesn't have a lot of tanks, and you can see 11th opening 2 F-16s, which makes sense because you can see the deployment was very, very light on the ground, and then A-10. So let's see what WARNO first has against that. You can see sniper going in to the southern side of the map, let's say, because I'm going to cast it from here. Stinger and arrow rifle dragons, you can see being brought in very high veterancy. Another dragon squad, another Stinger, and a Humvee tow, so extremely heavy deployment on the top, which is pretty bad in this case because his enemy has basically nothing there. 2 Mule Itos, forgot about his command in the back, which is a very big mistake. 2 Mule Itos going into the middle, arrow scouts with oh no, actually they don't have the 84, they have only the law. Yeah, right, I misremembered that. Another arrow rifle dragon, arrow stinger going to the center, and Humvee tow, which have the tow too, and not just the ITO like the mules. A10 flying around without a target, because normally you bring in the recon helicopters with such an opener, and now it just gets shot down by the F4. So yeah, that was really bad. So yeah, if you want to do an A10 opener, you need recon helicopter to get some early recon information. F-16 shoot down the F4 Phantom in return, which is pretty good, and then luckily it escapes the 2 upwetted Stingers. Let's see, by the way, what Honor First then also has at the top. A Delta squad, a Sniper squad, Arrow Stingers, Arrow Fighting Dragon. It's a pretty shit squad, but I guess they're cheap. Not even that cheap, honestly, for 45 points, 5-man squad. Arrow Scouts, Arrow Rifles Dragon, and another Stinger. Shoots down an F-16 AA. Those are the normal F-16s. Like, if you want to do the actual air spam opener, you want to take a normal F-16, shotgun F-16, then 1 to 2 A-10s, and at least 1 recon helicopter. Like, that's how I think Fortitude fans used to do it, and other people that were very good at it. In this case, I mean, it's Division 3, so, people aren't the best, right? Which is perfectly fine. More engineers coming in, command vehicle going up, capturing zones. Command helicopter has finally started also capturing some zones. I am really not a big fan of command helicopters because they're so awkward to micro, and they get shot down very easily. Especially this one only has 4 HP, so like every man-pad kills it, except maybe the blowpipe, though I'm not sure because I never see it. Delta here engaging the Panzergrenadier Marder, and I mean, they will lose that, obviously. Even though the Delta can't use the sniper rifle, it's still so much better. I was also surprised to only see 1 Delta squad in the opener. A10 coming in to strafe the Delta squad. A bit of a weird choice. But I guess better than nothing. And it gets sniped by the F-15. So that was a bit unlucky. So now both of the A-10s already down. Not the best start. But yeah, sorry, I wanted to say that I was surprised that I didn't see more Deltas in the beginning, because basically the only advantage is that they have the Airborne forward deployed, as I think the only unit in the division. Otherwise, they aren't like that great. So if anything, if you take them, you want to use them for an early aggression push, but I guess not in this case. F-15 circling around, doing some strafing. Not much going on in the center, and the bottom side is completely silent. And you see, the problem is if you do a heavy investment here and your enemy doesn't push, like he has a lot of points here at the bottom that are not doing anything. They're basically useless. These 2 command vehicles here going to capture the sector. Don't really know what was going on there. A bit weird. Infantry moving into the town, and yeah, well, one of first other big advantages that they have a lot of high HP infantry squads, which is another reason why I don't really understand why you would take the Arrow Fire Team Dragon, because they're not even that cheap for a 5-man squad, and you have a lot of high HP infantry squads that are, I mean, they're not that, much more expensive. They have almost twice the firepower. They're only like 50% more expensive. Like, oh, I don't know. Ilte's Führung here dies, 1 to cap, but I mean, the Mule Ito is gonna kill it at this range every day of the week. Though Marxist is still at a +1 because, yeah, there's still only one command out from Imawhale, and it's the helicopter command. Yeah, well, engineers and BGS dying. Oh, BGS was the one on the bottom side. But the engineers in the town also stood no chance against all the infantry here. Mada being killed by the, I think it was a Mule. F-16's coming in, actually not able to kill the DAB, very surprising. Now F-15 and F-4 come in, every plane survives. No, actually the F-16 goes down, so that's now both of his normal F-16s and one shotgun F-16 dead, which is very, very bad against the 11th, because they are able to bring in a lot more helicopters. Right now there's only the one DAP on the field, the command technically, which still hasn't captured the bottom side, which is really bad, because that's 3+1 tick for Marxist, and this being one of the new maps, you can see zones are small and don't give you a lot of points. Engineers now engaging their aero scouts, and yeah, I mean, at this range the engineers can use their satchel charge and completely delete the aero fire team. So yeah, while your infantry squads are big and very good, you should obviously still not go into very close range engagements against engineers. That's not the best use case. But you see the fire team 84s, 13-man squad if I remember correctly. Yeah, absolute monsters, slowly moving forward, making their way into the sector in the north, the November sector. This doesn't see a lot of play most of the time because the distance between the points here is fairly high, and you only have those 2 points. Well, if you fight around the middle, you can see you have 2 points to fight for, and they're closer to each other. And then the bottom side is, yeah, bottom and top side are basically completely void of anything. But I still like them because it's not like on some of the maps where you have completely useless flanks because they're full of like rivers or whatever, or lakes. Here you can actually use it to flank around, right? So I think that's pretty cool. Green Beret leader coming in, so Imawhale here really trying to capture November, which is a good call because it's basically undefended, which he does know, and you see he's not aggressively moving in, which is sad, but he's preparing to. Stingers gets a hit on the Chinook once, pretty unlucky. I think it has 20% ECM, yeah. Well, happens to the best of us with 20% ECM. Yeah, shout out to all my bros who have 20% ECM. Lol. Dab also gets hit, so Stinger having a very good run, but not shooting down the Green Beret leader, obviously, so they get in, and they're also very, very good leader squad with 12 HP. Quick fix goes down. Pretty bad loss. Now he has only one quick fix left, which has low HP. Don't really know why he was bringing in another one and not just repairing the one back there. Cobra gets hit by a Stinger. My problem with the Green Beret leader is that it's just too expensive, in my opinion. You can just use the engineer leader in this deck, which is also a 12-man squad, but costs like half, I think, or something around that. Though Marxist doing a cheeky flank here, and you can see he just brought in his Iltis Führungs and captured the back zone, which is what I meant with those flanks being really good to flank around. And yeah, well, no recon for Imawhale. OGB coming in on the bottom side, by the way, killing a Dragon Squad. So that's a very good kill. Killing of 12-man squads is really important for a Marxist. And yeah, well, as I said, those roads here emphasizing flanking maneuvers are really cool in my opinion. Imawhale also finally capturing the other back zone with his helicopter command and bringing in the aero engineers leader. Oh yeah, actually here is, okay, yeah, it's actually not half the points. I was wrong about that. You can see how often I have played 101st, literally never, but it's still 15 points less for basically doing the same. Lead squad is not want to fight anyway. The Marxist brings in a tank command to contest the sector, but a Humvee is there and just gets 3 shots on it. Unfortunately uses the last tow to kill the martyr. Oh no. Could have killed the M1A1 command. It's very, very unlucky. Yeah, that's the problem with the auto-targeting. They do not prioritize high-stressed units, so it switched fire to the Martyr. Very sad. Though it pushes the command back at least, so Imawhale finally has a tick. Is also capturing his back sector once again, and the last F-16 goes down. So Marxist is now out of air superiority fighters, which is a very, very bad thing to say for well, against the one of us at this point. Though the Cobra gets the engineers, no air defense being pushed up here. Very unlucky. But he has also captured another point at the top. November is his. Oh, some infantry was brought up to defend it, but yeah, not enough against all those squads, though I don't really know. They're on an attack move order. I guess you just completely missed the mech rifles here because of the smoke. LGB coming in again, and you see, or you might have seen it in the deck. This is the same LGB. He only has one, so you can see how insanely fast it reloaded. It's just bonkers, and it's broken and just stupid, honestly. M1A1 ACAV catching out aero rifles in the open. Again, another high HP infantry squad being killed basically for free. Very important kill. M1IP here drives into the forest. That's not a good idea, considering Imawhale only took one car of them, which is also, by the way, very weird choice in my opinion. Taking only one of the M1IP cars and then also the M1IP leader and then upvetting it. Like, you only get a whole 4 tanks. That's so few tanks in an engagement against an enemy that has a lot of tanks and armored vehicles. So I don't really know why. And then driving into the forest lane, you have an engineer right there, aero engineer, very good squad. I mean, it's just an engineer squad with 3 veterancies, so very, very, very good squad. Green Beret lady here just awkwardly standing in your open infantry squads, not in buildings. Big mistake. Buildings give you a lot of cover and make your infantry squads a lot more resilient, so you should always put them in cover if possible. Unless obviously they then get shot by a tank. Like if you put them in this building, no, the M1A1 ACAV wouldn't see him. So still would be a good idea. Plus Grenadier Marder goes down. I mean, yeah, even at range here, the Panzer Grenadier stood no chance. One engineer here in the open and already heavily stunned against another engineer in cover. Not stunned at all, and with higher veterancy, so also stand no chance at all. Oh, not the best play. And you can see the LGB is already in again. It's so ridiculous. Same LGB, unfortunately, Phantom was going right beside it, so yikes. And thus, and Aero Engineers goes down, but at least kills off the enemy engineers before that. More infantry coming in at the bottom. Don't really know why. Like, there's nothing going on here. And that's a pretty big investment. That's 265-point squads brought in 60-point transports. So very big investment for literally nothing. I guess he was afraid, maybe because one of his squads died there, that Marxists might start a push here. Not sure, which it's fair enough of an assessment, but in this case, completely wrong and wasting a lot of points. At least you can sell the Hueys, Black Hawks, sorry, not Hueys. But still, you still obviously need to pay the costs in the beginning to get them in. And yeah, now his squads here just get deleted. M113 Dragon could have been killed off easily by the Green Beret leader if you just put them in a building. I mean, in this case, if you don't have the micro, you can just put on auto cover for units. Like at high level play, you don't really want to have it on because sometimes you want your micro units behind the building when they're being shot at, and you don't want them to run into the building again, or if you want to have them in a specific spot, like for example also supply vehicles behind the tree line, you don't want them to drive into the tree line. But yeah, I mean, if you're playing in Division 3, just put on auto cover. Like, it's gonna save you more times than it's gonna hurt you. It's gonna benefit you more than it's gonna hurt you. Yeah, because, I mean, this engagement could have easily been won. Like, this is one squad against 2 insanely good infantry squads. In which one infantry squad is also gonna buff the other one. So, this infantry stood no chance of winning that. But yeah, unfortunately it does, and now we will be back yet equal. Imawhale actually overtaking Marxist, though it's not enough for the win. M1IP here being repaired up. with the supply goats. Those are the one with 500 supply. They're pretty good. Small, cheap supply vehicles, pretty fast. 100 kilometers per hour, like no idea how you, if you want to go 100 kilometers an hour in this little thing here, but apparently you can. Eagle circling, which is definitely a very good idea, because one major weak point of one of first is obviously its air defense, which is why it's a weird pick against 11th. I obviously don't know who was player 1 and who was player 2 in this case, so who counter-picked whom. But in general, like 11th is pretty favored in this division matchup because they have good air defense, long-range air defense with the Eyehawk. They have good enough close-range air defense with the Stingers and shotgun F-16s. Well, I mean, in this case, obviously, Marxist has already lost all his F-16s. You can see him bringing in 2 Eyehawks now, I guess, which is weird because there hasn't been a single strike aircraft, and we know that Imawhale doesn't even have any strike aircraft in his deck. LGB being retreated, yet that's a good decision with the F-15 circling around. He really doesn't want to risk losing it because he only has one. And yeah, now on the bottom side, I guess he's now trying to use his infantry to push, but what we're gonna achieve here, like the engagement regions here are also too long for your dragons to do something against the Bradley, for example, or any other tank or IFV. Oh, he has the Marxist, so could use them here. And there's no zone here. You can try then apply pressure into this zone, but the dragons are not the units for that. You would need like Totus or the Mule or the Humvee Toes, whatever. So I don't know. I mean, the Panzergrenadier is gonna get deleted out of existence within seconds by the 2 infantry squads. McRifle Dragon gets destroyed on the bottom side. Reinforcements coming in, and yeah, now I don't really know what the next move is going to be here for Imawhale at the bottom side. LGB's in again. Well, I mean, that's fair enough because it didn't use its bomb load and only used a bit of fuel. Another F-15 circling in the back, though doesn't see the F-16, unfortunately. For Imawhale, Stinger shooting at the F-15 miss. Oh no, it shot at Blackhawk, bringing in more air rifle dragons. Why? Could try push here. Like, this is the perfect engagement for Imawhale in this town here, because you can use your superior engineers and your high HP infantry to roll over Marxists supporting your infantry fighting in the town here. Is very hard with vehicles. Engagement angles are kind of weird in there. And then you can put in some ATGMs into the city and into the forest line here and get really good control of the sector, as he did it early on, as we remember. He also killed a tank with like a singular TOW Humvee. So I think that would have been a lot better investment. Though we see mortars being brought in, which is a good thing to do for an infantry heavy deck like one of first against a tank heavy deck like 11th. Oh, I haven't done anything yet, but I hope they will do something at some point. To tune the back here, like you see, again, also not in the building. That's such a bad mistake. If some tanks would be rolling down here, this TOW would be completely useless. So yeah, put on guys, put an auto cover. If you're like not no-lifing the game in any way, it's gonna be better for you. TOW, by the way, sniping an empty munitions vehicle. Stinger misses the Blackhawk, so pretty unlucky for him. That's 60 points that Imawhale gets to reinvest into more infantry. Now Engineer Dragon moving up, maybe engaging the arrow rifles, if he gets to see it. And yeah, I mean, they're double vet, but they're only at 4 HP and the Engineer Dragons are still full HP, so I don't know who's favored here, honestly. Nothing much going on at the moment. Kind of both players don't really know where to attack, what to do. There's a bit of an armored blob being built in the center by a Marxist, which makes sense. Especially if you take the martyrs, like you might as well use them in an armor blob because on their own they're not going to do much. This is basically the one thing they're good at, being damage sponges for an armor blob, because as I said, they survive a frontal hit from, like, for example, a Mantis or something. Yeah, well, now sniper engaging the engineer dragons, that's that's not a good time, because it's the good American sniper, but in this case it's at an engagement range where it can only use its long range sniper rifle, but it's still pretty good. M1A1 ACAV, yeah, gonna eat those squads here for breakfast because the dragons are not good enough. Aito could try to help out here, but the engagement range is a bit awkward because it's so low that it can be shot at from the M1A1, so you kind of don't want to do it. More dragons are being brought up. That's not the play here. That's really not the play. Though also mule Aitos coming in, so that's definitely the play. A helicopter here would be nice for a defensive unit, because you can see there's only one stinger there, like far in the back. So an Apache here, and we have 2 Apaches in the back. Don't know what they're doing there. Could easily kill the M1A1 and the Martyr. Also a bit of a, well, it's not an armor blob actually because it's an M113. But 2 Abrams going in the top, and the Command Abrams and ACAV Abrams are pretty scary together. The M1A1 ACAV only has good optics, but for a tank that's pretty good. And you can see it can spot the Humvee BGS engaging the aero rifles, and now with more infantry coming in, the aero rifles are going to be history very soon. F-15 is still circling in the back. What was the HGM firing at? I'm not sure. Whatever it was firing at, it lost track. And yeah, now you have these Aito mules in very weird positions. Even here, the engagement range is still very close. The tank can shoot back easily at you. Dragon sniping a supply vehicle that was going weirdly far forward on its own. Okay, I guess. But in the center there's a pretty big blob now. Also have a recon squad with them. Good idea. Panzergrenadier, yeah, well, not the best of ideas. Engineer's already a bit low, but yeah. Marxist would use his advantage here more decisively. He could easily push his aero scouts out. Then there's one aero rifles at G4, which can be easily killed by all those tanks who are out of range. The dragons as well. M1IP is a bit dangerous, but against 2 M1A1s instead there's no chance at all. Now another M1A1 coming in the south, engaging the fire team dragons. Though it gets stunned, so that's at least something. But engineer dragons of his own coming in. Now we have a push in the center. Let's see who will win the engagement against the M1A1. Between the M1s, yeah, the M1A1s obviously win against the M1IP. At the top, nothing much going on. The M1A1s have been rerouted. Also deploying so much infantry here is interesting choice. Another fire team not in cover. I guess it sees something, but still, that's so sad. Also, why is the quick fix so far back actually? And at low altitude it doesn't see anything. Oh, okay. Oh, weird. Yeah, putting the recon helicopter at low altitude is not the best choice. You can use it for attack helicopters to put them out of line of sight, but I mean, you obviously want to have line of sight for your recon helicopters, otherwise it's kind of useless. Second M1IP dying in the bottom side, so both M1IPs already lost. Now he still has the card of the command M1IPs, but only 2 tanks left. Though one M1A1 dies against the helicopters because Marxist here massively overextended with no air defense. Only 1 stinger being brought up now. It's way too late. F-16 Seed coming in for a gun run on the Apache. Interesting choice. Gets the kill. I mean, yeah, instantly gets killed by 2 ATAS and F-15 and F-4. It does make sense in the sense that the F-16 Seed has more ACM, so it has a higher chance of surviving. But diving so deep against an enemy that you know still has fighters left and gets the Apache ATAS with the Stingers as well, infantry, not a good idea. Now the M1A1 Command Abrams gets sniped by the ATIS Apache, and the M1A1 ACAV just standing in the open, not doing anything. That's... oof, yikes. Yeah, you really don't want to have a tank standing in the open like that. Yeah, he smokes, and I hope finally retreats them now. So yeah, perfect use case of the Apache. If enemy out of position, you're way beyond his AA range because he moved his tanks up too early, and yeah, snipe on a very important leader unit. Jaeger 2 being brought in here. I don't know why they insist on bringing in ATGM vehicles into this forest fighting here. It's like the thing is, the Dragon 2s here aren't a bad choice per se. They're just a bad choice because they're here on their own. Like in this case, you need, in such an engagement range, you want the dragons or metas, depending on what side you play, and tanks. But the long-range ATGMs are pretty much wasted in such an engagement. And now is Marxist infantry trying to push here. Like, as I said, this doesn't give you any points. This area and this area are for flanking maneuvers. Don't get bogged down in fighting over those areas. They don't give you anything. Use them as flanking to go around into the rear of your enemy, for example, or as support if you want to attack this point, or on the top side, this point, for example, or this point. But like, there's no attack going down here. There was one attack completely disconnected going on here, which didn't go a long way, and now the... why is he using his damaged tanks? Just repair them. He has supply in his deck. He's not bringing it in for some reason at the top side. He does have a lot of supply, to be fair, but still enough to like fix up his tanks at this point. The Apaches are arming, to be fair, though, so kind of works out. Maybe, yeah, okay. Never mind, it doesn't, because the Command Abrams gets sniped by a TOW-2. And yet, like, this is the engagement range where you want to use your TOW-2s and ITOs or whatever. Perfect engagement range. Gets sniped by Humvee TOW or Dragon 2 sideshot, I don't know. Snipes the Humvee TOW in return at least, but that's not worth it at all. Using an ACAV and then Command Abrams. That's, yeah, almost catastrophic. Brings in the OH-58s. Cool little helicopters. Get a kill on the DAB, actually. They can use their stingers on the fly. The Apache ATIS can do that as well, so the ATIS will eat those ones for breakfast, but to be fair, they are cheaper, and they still have a pretty good AA missile. And because they have 3 of them, it's kind of like you're spreading up your firepower. It's a bit like you know, the American carrier doctrine in World War II, where they spanned out a lot of escort carriers, because the idea was, well, if you lose one escort carrier, that's like only one-sixth of our strike power gone. Well, if you use a fleet carrier in a fleet carrier group of 2, there's 50% of firepower lost. And even though the escort carrier will go down 100% of the times because it has like no armor, no protection, whatever, it was a pretty much dirt cheap design with not even watertight doors or anything. It's still only 1/6 of the firepower. And the idea with the OH-58s, Stingers, is basically the same. Like, every one of them can get one hit by every manpads in the game. But if you have 3 of them, you have 3 Stingers firing at the same time. And if you lose one of them, it's only 1/3 of your firepower. Well, obviously, if you have one Apache ATAS, which I think point-wise is, yeah, actually still more expensive than 3 of those, and you use this one, you have lost all of your firepower. Artillery coming in, not hitting anything because the Ihawk was moved out of the way. Oh, very well done. OH-58s can also be used pretty creatively. I think it was in one of the games I uploaded, where my enemy used them as basically, like, we have long-range AA at home, where he just had them behind his line. LGB, by the way, diving in. Very weird while the fighter is up and gets killed. But yeah, that was completely useless. But yeah, if you have, for example, 3 of those spread out slightly behind your lines, so out of AA range, if an enemy wants to dive in with a strike craft to kill you, they can just snipe them super easily. and diving in to kill them makes no sense because, yeah, every one of them is only worth 60 points, and you can't dive 3 helicopters at once. So, yeah, you can definitely use them. I'm not sure if I want to use them myself, but interesting that Marxist here brought them in. And one A1 here moving in, not really achieving much. Old 58 command tried to do a flanking maneuver actually while I was talking about World War II doctrine and carriers and whatever. Old 58 tried to go for a little flanking maneuver and got shot down by the seat, I guess, but now the seat again dives in super deep where the LGB just went down and gets killed by the F-15. So I think that it's literally all the planes killed of 11th. That's really bad. M1A1 in the south gets a kill, but yeah, still, it eventually it doesn't get anywhere. It's still just driving forward, driving backward, driving forward, driving backward. Now you can see there was actually a hole in the defense of Imawhale, and then M1A1 actually managed to go through because the TOW2 is not in the building. It's just aha! Put your units in buildings, guys, because like that they're not useful. Green Beret ODA. I would say it's the best infantry squad in the game, well, together with the SAS maybe, but yeah, SAS had the Stinger. Well, one of the strongest ones. Bruh, M1A1 command here. Why didn't he just drive it through the bottom where he just got through? What the hell? And yeah, by the way, TOW still not engaging, getting killed off. But yeah, Green Beret ODA moving through the open. But yeah, again, that's really not the engagement you want to use them. If you would be using them in the city here, they would delete the make rifles within seconds. You would get command of the city, could use it to establish a firing line and take this sector here. Though he's using smoke fairly well, like especially for Division 3, like a lot of people even in Division 1 don't use smoke mortars, so that's very well done by Imawhale. And when A1 here gets killed because the TOW2 finally goes into the building. Who would have thought that this is a good thing to do? Like we can see, it has so much vision. If it would have been there before, the M1A1 never would have even come close to the sector. Didn't matter because the command Abrams was sideshot by the Humvee TOW2, but whatever. Next thing might not be as lucky. And yeah, now the engineer and Mac Rifle Dragons here gets deleted by just pure numbers of infantry, and Imawhale is driving into the smoke with his tank. Good idea, because there's only 7 minutes left actually, or 8 minutes, and he really needs to get going. Moving up the... Why is he moving up the TOW2 there? What is going on? The air scouts, yeah, that absolutely makes sense. But the TOW2? Why? Yeah, by the way, still the BGS here in a very weird spot. More Green Berets ODA being brought up in the open. Yeah, that makes... Why is there a command there? Maybe he wanted to sneak it around again, but it was too late. Yeah, Aero Fire Team Dragons obviously get deleted because it's just a shitty 5-man squad. Again, I get that they're cheap, but I just think they're really not worth it. They're so bad. M1IP gets found in the smoke, and the M1A1 had its turret already turned to the right side, so M1IP didn't even engage. But actually, Imawhale got the other back sector. Look, he brought in an OH-58 through one of the flanks, maybe through this flank. So now he's still at the +2, and now he's actually in winning territory. And Marxist has realized it, but he doesn't have time. He only has 6.5 minutes. And like, he has 2 tanks here, but there's no command with them. And then the Apache coming in will completely stop this push because there's literally 0 air defense here. Stinger back there and an Eyehawk back there. But you don't want to use the Eyehawk against helicopters. That's really not the use case. Howitzers, by the way, also being brought in. A bit late, but I mean, I guess better late than never. Ult is now finally recapturing the back zone. But that puts Marxist more than... That's now over 60 points ahead. When the tick is pushed, it will almost be 70 points ahead. At such a late stage of the game, on a map with so few points, only 8 points like maximum, that's almost catastrophic. Oh, like, I don't know how he's gonna come back from this. Now finally uses the LRS, like, way too late. Would have needed them way earlier than that. uh, Also, quick kicks could counter them if it would be a slight bit further forward, but I mean, I guess not. And yeah, you can see the Totu and the Arrow scouts there just got deleted for no reason at all. Another infantry squad, not in the building, by the way. More smoke coming in, don't really know why. There's nothing there to follow up. Ihawk gets killed by the artillery, so that's a very good artillery strike, actually. Already targeting the other Ihawk, though slightly off target. Don't know whether it will hit. Let's see. Is the Totu firing? I guess. Yeah, it gets a hit on the M1A one. So it's slightly out of range, but somehow still gets targeted. And maybe it's because of fuckery with the building. That the unit is like further back, but because it's in the building, it counters slightly farther forward. Yeah, M1A1 command gets killed by something. Yeah, it's just... This is a horrible spot to be in for Marxists. Bringing in the Sea Knight. I mean... it's a cool helicopter, but it's not gonna do much for you at this point. Actually, nothing. You stop it at the Stinger here, a little bit too far back. Also, only has 2 shots left. Ihawk at the bottom does survive, maybe. Let's see if the oh no, the other 155 is still firing. Oof! Eagle gets killed by the Stinger and the Ihawk. Yikes! I mean, at this point in the game, it's only 4 minutes left. You really don't care about losing an Eagle. You want to keep your point advantage, and at this point, yeah, there's no way Marxist even gets a command unit to the front line in time. I think he still had the Iltis leader, right? That we captured the bottom. Yeah, there it is, but it's just sitting there. I mean, at this point, you have to go for some desperation moves, honestly. You might as well try. Like, losing a unit at this point doesn't matter. Just go all in. Apache, a bit far back. Like, put them a little bit further forward. Obviously, don't put them too far forward, but I mean, somewhere around here would also be fine. And Dab as well. But artillery being brought in 3 minutes before the game ends. To smoke in here, that's a good idea, but it's just a bit too late. And yeah, well, hold on, maybe he might still be able to make it. No helicopters here to counter it. Apaches here are too far back. Both Sea Knights coming in to kill off stuff, I guess. Thought they might target the Humvee, but they don't see it, most likely. Iltis coming in. Will fully capture this sector, most likely. Oh no, the Totu. Oh, the Totu will... it misses, but the Humvee will it miss? No, it doesn't miss. Just before it dies, it hits. So that puts Marxist at only at a +1, and yeah, the helicopter command now. The only time the helicopter command is actually better because it can get to the sector way quicker than any other command. So I guess I was wrong. Taking the helicopter command was actually worth it. But yeah, I think the +2 tick, he will get to to a draw, another win, depending on how fast the OH-58 gets in there. Everything depends on the OH-58 getting in there in time. I think, yeah, it should be enough. Well, I don't know. But there's no other command from Marxist on the way, so he's not even playing to win. He's playing to maybe slightly draw, and now he even surrenders. Yeah, definitely an interesting game to see how lower league players play. Marxist is rank 700. Can't show you the rank of Imawhale because it will just show my rank, but I would guess he's somewhere around there as well. So yeah, definitely some basics mistake you can see with those people, but also very good plays as well, like with the artillery and the smoke mortars. So yeah, I think it's a little bit more training, I guess, if they want to do it, obviously, or a little bit more experience, and they can be very good players, honestly. The basics are there. Well, some of the basics, yeah. Well, please put your units in buildings. I beg of you. Just put an auto cover. Um, yeah, the air opener really didn't work out for 11th ACAV. Phantom shooting down A10. Stinger getting 2 F-16s killed. Humvee 3 martyrs, and then the F-15, the A10, F-16, F-16 seat, and Sea Knight. So yeah, he had a good day. Mule here getting Iltis Führungs and Jaguar 2. Yeah, Jaguar 2 usage was very... I don't even know why he would take Jaguar 2 in this matchup, honestly. Don't think they're worth it. Though maybe he kind of uses them because he doesn't use the Milan 2. I don't know. Sniper getting a BGS and a Stinger. Well, it's okay. Aero Stinger getting an F-16 and a quick fix. So the Stingers were doing a good job being outvetted. Vet 2 Stingers are really dangerous. Dab getting another Iltis Führung. That was the one that drove around the flank and the top side. F-15 getting the LGB. Also very weird to see people only use one LGB. Even though, yeah, sure, it reloads very quickly, but it also only reloads very quickly if it doesn't get hit, right? So you also have to think about that. Green Berets getting the quick fix. What happened there? Or maybe it was just small arms fire, I guess. Mac rifles and 113. TOW2 here getting a command Abrams and a normal Abrams. Oof, that's really, really bad. Yeah, that's I think that's the one at the bottom that wasn't in a building before, but yeah, very, very bad. But obviously also the problem if you play against American divisions, the TOW2s are incredibly strong. Apaches here. Apache should know the F-16C actually low. That's funny. And the other ATAS getting a command Abrams. Seen that in actually one OH-58. So I guess the duel. I mean, the duel is obviously still better because ATAS only needs to hit once. Kill the OH-58. But yeah, that was when Marxist started overextending without AA support against a division that relies on helicopters. That's such a bad mistake to make. Another TOW2 getting two M1A1s. Also, the smoke play was not that good in this game by Marxist. And you really need to be good with smoking if you play against a division that has 80 GMs out the ass. Green Berets ODA, yeah, I mean, that's really not a good kill list for a 100-point infantry squad. But yeah, as I said, they were used in a very bad part of the map. You want to use them in not really close range fighting, but close range engagements, not in the open. That makes no sense, especially not against tank division. Another TOW2 vehicle getting an M1A1 command tank. Well, who could have guessed? And also 2 martyrs and another command vehicle. That was again the last minute play at the bottom side. Yikes. And then yeah, howitzers. I mean, they were brought in very, very late, but got all 3 Highhawks, funnily enough. Which is a weird target because didn't have any strike craft. But yeah, at that point in the game, it also didn't really matter. And yeah, another TOW2 getting 2 Abrams. So maybe it would have been a good idea for Marxist to bring out his howitzer earlier than in the last 3 minutes to counter all those TOW2 teams. Because the big disadvantage of those ATGMs is artillery can kill them pretty easily, actually. So yeah, maybe not invest into air so early on, and not so many tanks and infantry just standing around on the flanks, and more artillery. Yeah, use your artillery, guys. Artillery is very strong. Yeah, you can see A10. As I said, with the A10 opener, use a recon helicopter, otherwise it's useless. You're not going to get anything done because your A10 is not going to see anything. A10 was completely useless. I think, no, this one is, well, not completely useless. I guess it got a Mule Ito, but the other one was, I think, literally completely useless. It didn't do anything, yeah, just got killed. And when A1 ACAV here did get a pretty decent kill list. A killing of 2 chaparrals is very good, because one of us only gets 1 card of those. Sniper, Humvee 2 Humvee, a mortar, bunch of arrow rifles. So arrow fire team is a small one, but arrow rifles is a 12-man squad, so very well done. But yeah, in the end, just stupidly lying to your TOW2 is still bad. Stinger here actually doing again a lot of work. That's what I said. Close range AA for those divisions isn't the problem. You just need to have it in place. The Stingers are very strong. Look at this. Hearing of Chinook, which is very expensive at least. An Apache, which is expensive and a very good attack helicopter. LGB, surprisingly enough, didn't get that much done. Only 3 infantry squads. Like, that's yikes. It needs to do more. M1A1 only getting one M1, only one M1 IP. The Humvee Tone and Aero Scout. That's not a good kill list. Cobra getting the engineer leader that was pushing into the center in the beginning. That was an important kill, definitely. Those 12 men command infantry can be major pain in the ass. Green Beret leader dying in the top for no reason at all. Yeah, because again, units were not in cover. M1A1 getting one M1 IP. I mean, I guess it's a good trait in the sense of that Imawhale only had 4 tanks overall, counting his command tanks as well. But for an M1A1, that's still a horrible kill list. Though the other M1A1 ACAV also doing pretty well, even though like no like really high value kills, but 3 mil Itos, Aero Rifle 34, Aero Rifle Dragon, and Aero Stinger, pretty good kills. Like none of them is really high value, but it's enough good value kills. M113 Dragon going absolute ape shit, apparently. Killing a mortar, Humvee, aero rifles, and another Humvee. Yeah, I guess that was stuff I was missing while I was talking about the OH-58s. Sorry, guys. But yeah, I think the use case of the OH-58s is a very interesting question. Sorry, I had to take a sip there because my throat got really, really dry. As I said, I think it's a very interesting decision whether you use the OH-58s and if you use them, how you use them. So that's why I wanted to talk about it, but missed a bit. Sorry, it was my first cast, so mistakes tend to happen. F-16 Seed getting one Apache, but I mean, one of first doesn't have any radar AA anyway. I think it would have been better to just replace the car with a second LGB, honestly. Because gun running the Apaches against a division that has Apaches with Stingers and F-15s and Chaparrals is a very, very bold move and didn't pay off at all. This Abrams here, pretty bad kill list. Sorry. M1A1 command here, only getting a few infantry. It's okay, and yeah, you can see in general M1A1s, most of them didn't perform too well. M1A1 ACAVs did perform very well, but the normal M1A1s are performing at best mediocre, and that's why he lost. Like a lot of investment into area didn't work out, and then tanks that also didn't do a lot. So yeah, thanks to the guys for delivering an entertaining game. I hope I wasn't too harsh on them. Just so you know, I'm not saying that those people are like bad or dumb or whatever. I'm just giving you tips for what I think I would do better. And I'm not the best player by any stretch of the imagination, but I would say I'm a good player. And yeah, I will cast our second game sometime soon. And I hope you liked it. Tell me in the comments what you think about it, what I can do better. I'm still learning. I hope you liked it, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.